With the grace of Lord Ganesha, Bala Ganapati, today we are talking on a Pratipada day, Pratipada Tithi, the first day of lunar phase. It's governed by goddess Kameshwari and Bala Ganapati. Bala Ganapati has four hands, and in these four hands, he has a sugar plantain, a jackfruit, a mango, and coconut. He blesses as a child, and a child is always ready to give wounds. It is pleased easily. When we worship Bala Ganapati, especially on a Pratipada day like today, we are definitely going to get lots of blessings. Lots of good things are going to manifest in our life in a great way, and we are going to see abundance. Yesterday it was a Shravana Nakshatra governed by moon. Shravana Nakshatra, it's represented by three footsteps. Shravana Nakshatra is the nakshatra of Lord Vishnu, Vamanavatar in particular, and Sri Sukha Brahma Maharshi who revealed the Srimad Bhagavatam. And today we are talking in the nakshatra of Dhanishta. Dhan we also know it means wealth. Dwan means its sound also. Dhanishta is a nakshatra of Mars. It is governed by Mars. And when a planet is placed in the first pada of Dhanishta, it gets into the house of Leo in Navansha. And then when it is placed in the second pada of Dhanishta, it gets into Virgo. The third pada of Dhanishta, when a planet is posited over there, it gets into Libra. And when in the fourth house, it just goes in the Navansha, the D9 chart, to the house of Scorpio. We all know that Dhanishta, by nature, it's a split nakshatra. That means two half of it, the first two padas, it is in the sign of Capricorn, and the second two padas is in the sign of Aquarius. And another specific thing about Dhanishta, it's represented by a drum. Lord Shiva has a drum, and when you worship or meditate Lord Shiva, and when you recite his drum's music, you can be assured there is some sort of wealth that is going to happen in our life. Abundance is associated with Dhanishta. And for another reason, Dhanishta is very popular. We have a Dhanishta Panchami and all, which it also goes by the name. So, Dhanishta, today's nakshatra, today's Pratipada is what we call as the first day of the lunar phase. The goddess is Kameshwari, representing our desires. Whenever we see a horoscope, we have to see the ascendant first. The ascendant is the king of the horoscope. And wherever the king sits, our mind sits over there. For example, the second house represents wealth, family, speech, etc. The third house is that of communication. Whenever we are going to do an analytical research of horoscope, we have to see the houses, then the zodiac sign, and then the planet posited over there, and the house lord where he is. For example, I'll say like this: you get a house in Chennai, but the house owner, if he is at a place like USA in a very good job, he is going to keep his house in a clean way. When you are at a rented house at Chennai, but the house owner himself is stuck up in financial problems, the house you have rented might not be so great. So, for example, I tell you like this: there is a planet Mars situated in the house of Leo. It is Mars and Sun are friendly planets, Mars, Sun, and Jupiter. But since Sun himself is debilitated or is conjuncted with Rahu or else aspected by Saturn and is a little bit weak, or else in the fourth house where he loses his directional strength, then though Mars is in his friend's house, he might not be able to enjoy the full benefits of the house. Take it in another case. There is a sun, and the sun is stronger, means that he is exalted or he is being conjunct with a Jupiter in a beneficial house like 11. And in that same story, if Mars is there in Sun's house, it is going to be very grateful because things are going to be much better. But assume like this, that it is the eighth house or else it is 8th house Mars is fine, or else understand like this, it is the 7th house. Mars is not comfortable in relationship and Mars feels pretty bad, or else if Mars is in the 4th house, he's a little bit stressed out there because Mars gets its Digbala in the 10th house. So the house is important first, then the zodiac sign, and then the planets there, and then the dispositor of the planet, that is to say, the owner of the house. How is his placement? Then we have to get further and see in which nakshatra it is posited. Same way, the lagna. The lagna is ascendant. It says a lot about yourself. When you go for a chart reading, two things are more important. One is the lagna and the other is 12th lord. The 12th lord is called as Ayana Sayana Bhogasthana, where you take rest, where your mind gets peace, and where you spend your energy or resource to refresh yourself. Your first house is where all about yourself. And assume that your first house is Aries, and the lord of the first house is Mesha, it means Mars. Mars is called as Lagnesha or Lagnappa or whatsoever. If Mars is in the house itself, he is going to take care of himself well. So when the house lord is in the house itself, especially in the case of ascendant, things are going pretty fine to some extent. And if the ascendant lord is being aspected by a friendly planet, it's even better. For example, if Mars is aspected by Jupiter or Sun, things are okay, fine to some extent. But we have to see other factors also. But I'm just giving a brief. Second house, if the lagna is in the second house, the native is going to be behind wealth, improving his family, and all those things, speech, etc. If it is in the third house, his communication might be better. He'll be trying to be more aggressive, more communication, etc. If it is in the fourth house, he will be trying to have a home for himself. He'll be trying to build it off. He'll be trying to keep those at home happy. Fourth house, 1, 4, 7 town are the places of Vishnu where you put your efforts. One, all about yourself, you are trying to improve your health. If it is in the fifth house, the Punya Sthana, he will be trying to increase his Punya, he will be trying to increase his status level, he will be bothered about his progeny, he will be having an interest in education, etc. And if it is in the sixth house, he will be busy dealing with his enemies, disputes, and all those things, and his mind will be preoccupied with that. And if it is in the seventh house, there is a positive thing that he'll be trying to improve his relationship, he'll be trying to improve his contacts, etc. Good for partnership to some extent. But another meritorious thing is that he has to go and search and seek relationships. Relationships will not come to him. This guy has to go and make friendship and all those things. And when the Lagna Lord is going to aspect itself, it's great. Things are pretty fine because he's bothered about himself. Because the Lagna Lord, the ascendant, has to be aspected by some benefits and all. If at all it is having no aspect or he is not aspecting anything, he is going to be least bothered about anyone. And he will be on his own track. 8th house is the hidden house of treasures. But I have seen that when the Lagna Lord is in the 8th house, such people are very good at stock market because the 7th aspect directly falls on the 2nd house. But they have a neglect of their health, as I have seen in many cases. And in few cases, they don't spend the money they earn, and at old age, they just pass away. That's it. And when it's in the 9th house of Dharma, it deals all about your father, your ethics, your long distance travel, pilgrimage, and all those things. 3rd is short distance travel, 3rd house. 10th house is the house of karma, where you perform your duty. And if it's in the 10th house, the person becomes a workaholic guy. In the 11th house, it's all about profits. He is bent upon making profits. He makes friends who are at the higher level of the society and all. But if the Lagna Lord is in the 12th house, then that person might go abroad. Then he might be interested in meditation, spiritual practices, taking rest, and all those things, and they have to be careful a little bit about health also. Yes, except for the Drigbhavas, 6, 8, 12. And even in the case of Drigbhava, if the native goes to abroad or else he engages in any profession that keeps him secluded from others and more of focused, that guy is very successful. That native is very successful. In short, we have to understand that the Lagna is the king, and your 12th house speaks about where you are going to exhaust your energy that you have accumulated in your first house. And 12th house is very much needed because peaceful sleep is represented and is governed by your 12th.